Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you, and welcome to One More Round, the show where I talk about Counter-Strikey stuff. It's basically a podcast, but you get 60 frames per second images in the background. How about that, huh? The footage I'm showing is from a professional player. I'll let you know who sometime during the video. This time, I'm going to be talking about scamming, or getting scammed in Counter-Strike. This is not a guide as to how not to get scammed or anything. There are different types of scams. This is just my thoughts on the whole thing, on the whole subject matter. Now, there is a big difference between being hacked and scammed. Hacking in this case is where someone gets access they shouldn't have, such as logging into your account with your password when you haven't told them it, or getting you to download a file that turns out to be a virus. Scamming is just where someone tricks you into a deal that is obviously undesirable. It's not what you thought it was. It's not getting around your hardware, it's getting around your brain. Scammers exploit your own trust and ignorance. They actively search out the naive and prey on them. They hold to the old mantra, there's a sucker born every minute. The scariest part is that they are sociopaths. They don't have the ability to empathize with other humans, and they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. If you're stupid enough to leave yourself open, why shouldn't they take it, is the thought process. That's scary. And the first step to protecting yourself is to recognize that there are people like that in the world, actively looking for you. I get messages periodically from people informing me that they have been scammed, like there's something I can do about it. Obviously, there's not. There's nothing I can do about it if you get scammed. You have to fill out a Steam ticket, report their account, and try not to let that happen in the future and learn from it. I understand that a lot of these people are young and don't know any better. The people who get scammed are usually those who are exploitable, naive, weak. Criminals generally prey on the elderly, on children, on women, people who can't reason as well or aren't as physically strong to protect themselves. The best thing that you can do is don't make yourself the victim. When I was young in grade school, Pokemon had just come out and was all the rage. They had a collectible card game that we used to play at school during recess. I was very proud to own all 3 of the most evolved starter Pokemon, as the original Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. Yes, I looked up those names to write this, and yes, I'm talking about Pokemon in a Counter-Strike video. This has a point. One day, when we were playing with the cards, some of the older kids came up to me and surrounded me. I didn't know any better, and I had all my cards all over the place, sprawled out. They started speaking really fast, confusing me. They took my Venusaur card, as I grasped for it, my weak stature and short reach making my efforts futile. They handed me back a different card, saying it was a trade, saying it was a good deal. I didn't really understand what was going on and was very confused. In my mind, they were just looking at my card. It was still my card. They walked away with it, leaving me there with something else. I had no way to get it back. I didn't know who they were. It happened fast. There were many of them, and they were bigger than me. And I had just been scammed, or stolen from, depending upon how you look at it. That feeling of helplessness, of naivete, of victimhood, stuck with me, and it still does to this day. I know it was over something silly, but at the time, those cards meant a lot to me, and someone else had exploited me, taken advantage of my weakness, of their strength. That was the moment I learned not to trust people. And I'm glad it was over something as silly as a collectible card game, because now I try to keep myself constantly vigilant, to keep myself strong, aware, able to defend myself, so that I'm never going to be the victim again. I may be. It can always happen again, but I try to make sure that that doesn't happen. If you've been scammed out of virtual Counter-Strike items, I say be glad, because you've learned an important life lesson, and it will help strengthen you so that it doesn't happen again in life with something more important, like your bank account, your identity, your body, or your family. If it seems too good to be true, it is. Never trade in-game items for real money. You will get scammed. Never use an intermediary for a trade. Always check the trade before you accept it. Always look over trade requests 2 times, 3 times to make sure that it's the proper trade that you want to do. Never download anything from anybody. Be careful with links. Check every external link to make sure it isn't a mirror site. Don't even trust your friends. Their accounts might already have been compromised. You could be chatting with someone completely different. This has happened to me. I was chatting with somebody. They sent me a mirror link. I looked at it and went, oh, this is a mirror link. What are you trying to pull here? Somebody had taken my friend's account and was apparently going through the friend list and trying to send mirror sites to everybody else to see, I don't know, see how many accounts they could get. Don't give people your personal information. Be careful. The internet puts you in touch with many amazing people. You can have great adventures, make lots of friends, but it also puts you in touch with a bunch of sociopaths looking for their next victim. Being a victim is nothing to aspire to. Don't expect sympathy from people for your own mistake. Pity is given to the weak. It amazes me that people seek pity instead of seeking strength. That all being said, how Steam works and how the trading system works has changed over time to prevent scamming. But that doesn't mean that the user themselves don't need to be wary anymore. Now, a lot of people point to the items to blame for scamming. If there weren't in-game items, there wouldn't be scamming, and that's absolutely true. The culture around in-game items has created many ills in the Counter-Strike community. It has also created many triumphs, many great things. The giant esports tournaments would not be possible without those items. Valve wouldn't keep working on the game if there wasn't a continued revenue stream in some way. It's a double-edged sword. If you do get scammed, I'll say it again, open a ticket with Steam support and report their account. That's pretty much all you can really do after the fact as far as I know. If you know another way to do something, let us know in the comments. Be careful and be glad that it only happened with your pointless in-game items, with stuff that doesn't matter, because bad people out there do not care. They will screw you over in so many different ways. They will go after you where it will hurt you the most. If you want to keep up to date on the different types of scams, I think the best place to do this, unless there's another resource that you guys know of, is the Global Offensive subreddit, /r/Global Offensive. People will always post there when they get scammed. People upvote it, and it's sort of like an awareness thing, warning others what kind of a new scam has come out and what to watch out for. It's something that's constantly going on. There's some standard ways to do it, but people are coming up with new and exciting ways to be jerks. So enough nastiness. Let's get to fun stuff. Who's that pro? Have you guessed it by now? Huh? It's Zipnix of Team Dignitas. I'm TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer.